What's going on, Gecko?
Oh, just doing this stuff. Sorry, you got my whole mind just.
You were like, let's get started. Let's get started. Then I started. You're like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I know, and then you just surprise attacked me like that. Well, I've been playing a lot of Fallout, doing a lot of 3D modeling, stuff like that.
How's the 3D modeling these days?
Pretty good. Working on my own type of projects, getting those done.
Yeah.
Making my own stuff, practicing,
Mm-hmm.
turning out really good. I'm
Nice.
so proud of a lot of the work I've done. I'm working on my biggest project now, just making an actual, basically a city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be a long process, but it's going to be fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Got any Star Wars rumors you want to talk
Before
about?
we go into Star Wars rumors, I'm going to talk about some disappointing facts that came.
All right.
Number one.
Disappoint me. I dare you.
I had heard news that Dave Filoni, George Lucas, all the crew making Star Wars were like, oh yeah, we're gonna be sure that the sequel movies weren't gonna be a part of the canon Star Wars.
Right.
No. Apparently they're gonna rework the sequel movies or something like that. I don't exactly know. Some of these details may not even be true, but I hear they're gonna rename Rey. They're gonna rework of how she's gonna be put into the story and stuff, and it's gonna be so dumb.
Okay.
I give up.
Like you've done that before.
Yeah, I did. But moving on from that, I have a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's start with Tales of the Jedi.
All right.
I have some rumors here. I think they're not going to be doing just Ahsoka and Count Dooku.
Okay.
I think they might be doing maybe an Obi-Wan Kenobi episode
Okay.
and another episode. I can't remember which character I was thinking. Some other-
Sophie.
No,
Uh,
some other character that I don't know.
okay.
But that's about it for Tales of the Jedi. Nothing new came out that I could say, hey, this is what I think.
Okay.
Moving on from that, nothing on Mandalorian new, nothing on Ahsoka new, really. Andor, though.
Yep.
I've got so much to talk. Okay, listen here. So, Andor. I have so many questions of what's actually going to be happening in the show. I believed it was going to be Andor protecting this senator. I could be very, very wrong about that. I think, actually, Andor, in a way, is going to be protecting her, but instead, he's more focused on his own mission to, find some information, basically.
Okay.
Not exactly sure. But not only that, we know this is a time of when he's like this, brute? No, what's the word? Ready to do anything he needs to do to win.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure. Kind of interesting, but I'm excited. And not only that, it's a Star Wars spy movie.
Right.
Show. So that's kind of exciting. But then also we get to look at a couple of details. Some things. We get a couple of structures in the water. And I'm wondering. First, I thought they could have been prison camps, but I could be wrong. They actually might be something, some kind of I don't know, exactly what it would be, but it's seemed to be draining the water from the lake that they were in, and it could be hiding the Death Star in there. What? Well, at least pieces of the Death Star. So I do know that during the time of the Empire, they hid the Death Star creation throughout the entire time. And up until the point they probably used it the first time. So,
interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thought, that we'll probably have some more stuff into how they hid the Death Star and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we might actually get into, so from what I understand, actually, the show might go into starting with Andor, but then go right into Rogue One.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. So after that, we do get some look at Horizonte, and I'm not exactly sure why we're there, other than the fact that we'll see our great Senator Mon Mothma. I don't know why else we would be there, because there's a couple scenes that make me think that it is in Coruscant, but we see these weird elevators kind of going down. Like there's 2 elevators going down, and then one on the left just keeps going down, and then another one comes in and just connects to the one on the right side, and then whatever.
Okay.
It's a weird elevator system, I must say. But so I don't know what that has to do with like anything for our great Mon Mothma, because if we are just focusing on the Senator on Coruscant, why do we have to look at these elevators? Maybe it's not Coruscant. Maybe it might be a new planet, which would be kind of dumb to add more planets in and stuff like that. But we might be taking a look at a prison.
Okay.
Which kind of interests me, because our next shot after that was some prisoners walking down this very narrow tunnel. And they're just lined up walking in white shirts, I think, or whatever, in a very clean environment. So I'm assuming Andor's going to be trying to save somebody from this prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's about it. I have any questions so far? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know much about the history of creating the Death Star and hiding it. It just sounds weird. Like,
Well,
I guess, with how big it is, it would take a very long time to build and all that. But at the same time, like, the Empire is kind of like they're the Empire. They don't really need to hide things. But at the same time, it's also like how you hide something like that. Like, it's as big as a moon. Like, you can't just like put that in.
That's no moon.
Your back pocket.
It's a space station.
But
yeah, so if you just watch the Rebels show, it kind of explains a little more of that.
Okay, I'll watch it. Goodness. And then I don't know why they'd show Coruscant, of course, if it is. Yeah, I definitely want to see Andor doing things in big cities.
Yeah, I would love to see the
underbelly.
Yeah, I personally would love. So, of course, in Clone Wars, I don't know about Rebels, but in Clone Wars, we definitely got to look at the Undercity of Coruscant a little bit. I would love to see that in live action, personally.
Do you know what the rating of the show is going to be?
I'm not sure. I would have to double check that. It may be just PG-13. Not sure. Would have to double check that. Other than that, there is this one shot that does have me concerned about some things that they're going to do. There's this shot with these people holding these guns, and they look like AK-47s. like the look. I could show you a picture of those. They look like AK-47s. They don't look like Star Wars blasters.
Right.
They're just standing there with these AK-47s with a mag, right. And it just does not fit the scene at all. I don't know if they're gonna try and integrate some stuff into it, which would be absolutely dumb.
Right.
We also get to look at a new droid, of course. We all know you hate seeing new droids, but it's a big universe.
I'm fine with new droids. I just want droids to be better.
Okay.
They used to be fun characters, and now they're just... Ugh.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. The one big thing I look forward to about the show is Andor being a spy, and not a lot of big fighting and stuff. Just more him dodging and weaving in and out of alleyways,
right?
Which is going to be interesting. Is there anything I'm forgetting here? No, I haven't. I don't think so. Oh no! So another stupid thing that I realized. So number one, Andor. We do get a scene of Andor stealing a TIE fighter.
Okay.
Then the next scene is him going into hyperspace, which looks like the same TIE fighter. Number one, TIE fighters have never had the capability of hyperdrive, except for maybe the TIE Defender. No, not the TIE Defender. Some other TIE fighter that was modified to have shields and stuff. Maybe it was the TIE Defender. I don't know. But there's never been a TIE fighter, the little 2-wing snub on the thing, the little ball in the middle, has never had the capabilities of hyperdrive. They've always had to just hook up to another ship to go into hyperdrive. Right. Most annoying thing ever. So if it's true that they give TIE fighters hyperdrive capabilities...
Well, what if it's like a prototype, like they were trying to create one that could, and that's why he stole it?
That's what I'm hoping. It does look like... So we do get a look at the cockpit, and it looks like a 2-seater. There's 2 seats in the ship, and it looks a little bigger than the normal... Get your little snub fighter and fight. So I don't know. Like... If it is, like, I'm going to hate it if they do that. Because there's so many times you just go through the Star Wars universe and you're just like, like they even say TIE fighters don't have the capabilities of hyperdrive. We'll be fine. And it's like, if this TIE fighter does this, what the deuce?
Yeah.
No. Darth Vader's TIE fighter has the capabilities. I was
going to ask about that. So maybe it's like showing them building his. If it's like a prototype or something.
Yeah, maybe it's his, or maybe it's a prototype for a newer TIE fighter. Yeah. I do know in Rebels they do the prototype for the TIE Defender, and again, I don't know if that one has hyperdrive capabilities. But moving on from that, that's just annoying.
Right.
Other than that, nothing new. I will say that the cool thing about this show is the fact that how the soundtrack goes with a lot of the noise that is being put through so I'm excited for the soundtrack. I'm excited for it. So that's about it for me.
Did you? I think you might have said something about another show that's coming out. The Acolyte?
The Acolyte! That's right. Thank you for my goodness. I just said that before we started recording, and then of course I forget. Yes, the Acolyte just had one cast member put in for I think the main character. I have to double check on what's her name, but it is some interesting stuff. Hold on, where is it? Amandla Stenberg. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I don't.
Yeah, she might be playing the main character, so which is kind of interesting. I do hear that maybe Darth Bane, I think his name is going to be in the show. The one who created
DC characters.
I really just want to throw this laptop out the window. No, Darth Bane, who the one who created the Rule of Two. Okay. So we might see him, which I would love to see him. We did get a look at him in Clone Wars, but other than that, nothing else. So that's about it for Acolyte. So I'm really excited for that show. I don't know what their plans are for that show. Don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. Thank you for reminding me about that.
All right. So that's it for Marvel, it sounds like. I mean, Star Wars, so I'll get into Marvel.
If we're done with Marvel, then we can move on to something else.
All right. So there is a ton for Marvel, so I don't know exactly where to start. So I'm just going to kind of talk here and see where we go. See how much... Until we run out of time, I'll just be blabbing. So, all right. Let's start with, what's coming out. She-Hulk. There's been a lot. I've mentioned a few things like possibly The Thing coming, the Daredevil, and that was confirmed. So, the thing about The Thing, pun intended, is...
Why would you do that?
Kevin Feige, in some of his interviews at San Diego Comic-Con, was talking about Fantastic Four, and he said that there's basically no casting so far. They're looking for a director, and they want the director to be the director. That's very important. Like this director, they were gonna go with what's his face that directed Spider-Man movie, John Watts, but then he backed out, and they didn't have a backup, and they're really trying to nail who the director is before they move on to other things, because they're like, this is gonna be a big movie. We don't want to make mistakes that Fox made and stuff. So they're like, we're not going to do an origin story. It's going to be very similar to Spider-Man, where everybody knows the origin story already. So we're going to go straight into their story.
Okay.
And so he's very focused on finding that director first. So that makes me think that these rumors aren't true, that The Thing's going to be in She-Hulk, because if they don't have somebody playing the thing, they can't just have him show up. But then again, since he's CGI, if he's only showing up as CGI, it's not going to be that big of a deal, right? They can kind of have the CGI monster with a voice, but then if that changes, people aren't going to be that. Well, some people would be, but. So that's really the only rumor around She-Hulk. So I'll just go into kind of we'll talk about that later, actually. But with Daredevil coming, there's rumors about what he's doing. As I mentioned before, in Echo, he's supposed to be looking for Jessica Jones. Now, as I mentioned also, that Jessica Jones has worked for lawyers, and Jennifer Walters is a lawyer, so there could be a kind of correlation there. Since Jennifer Walters is going to be representing superheroes, right? We could have something where she's representing Abomination or all these other, because the trailer shows a lot of quick snippets of people who are superheroes that are going to be new superheroes. Some which are deep cuts into the comics that I didn't even recognize. I had to look up to who they were. Others that we have no idea who they are. And so she's going to be representing all these people. So she could be hiring somebody that is a private investigator like Jessica Jones to be figuring out their dirty secrets so she doesn't get blindsided by stuff or whatever, or digging into Abomination's backstory so that she knows who he is or if she can trust him or whatnot. We know that Wong's going to be coming too, so we know that he's going to be talking a lot to her about that. We saw him in Shang-Chi with Abomination, so that could be another side of her trying to just get into the backstory of Abomination or whatnot. So, will Jessica Jones show up? I'm leaning towards no, but I do want to know what the heck Daredevil's doing there. Then again, since he's a lawyer, he could be she's a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, I don't know. Maybe I can, talk to her about lawyer stuff. I don't know. But it is interesting that that's somewhere where, but why wouldn't we see? I feel like they would have showed us him, if that was the case, we'd see him in the trailer as Matt Murdock. Why did they give us his yellow and red suit? Why? Unless he's going to not show up until the very, very end, and they were just I don't know why they teased that then. That doesn't feel like a Marvel thing to do. They usually hold that stuff on and it gets leaked and they say, no, that's not true. And then it happens and you're oh, like John Krasinski, right?
Yeah. So he's probably going to be in a lot more than...
I don't know. No, one thing, so the latest trailer they released, she breaks the fourth wall and she says, like I said in our last episode was, it's going to be a courtroom drama comedy thing with superheroes. And she says, but it's not going to be like those where there's a bunch of cameos every episode. But then she says, well, I guess Wong and Bruce. So that's saying we're going to see a lot of them. She doesn't say Matthew Murdock. So, but that's just interesting that, that was probably something that's not actually going to be said in the show, right? That was something for the trailer itself. So I don't know. I don't know how much we're going to see it. All right, moving on though, unless you got something you want to ask.
No, I'm just... curious about Daredevil now.
Yeah. So then we'll go into Wakanda Forever. There is a lot to talk about here, so we'll just start blabbing again. All right. So I want to focus on mutant here for a second because we just got our first mutant, right? And as I said before, mutants from the Fox universe aren't allowed to come into our universe unless they're exactly the same mutants in the same universe as the Fox universe being brought into our universe. So they'd have to be acted by the same person based on the same story in the same universe. So until 2025. That's why I think that they chose, one of the reasons they chose to make Miss Marvel a mutant. Start bringing them in. And like I said, I think that's why they're doing the X-Men 97 show. To slowly start bringing them in ways that they're allowed to. Another way they can do that is Namor, right? Namor is, in the comics, known as the first mutant because he was the first character introduced. I think his first comics 1957, way back, right? And he wasn't known as a mutant until later, but because his character's so old, that's why he's called the first mutant. So I wouldn't be surprised since, he's not in the old stuff that he's a mutant. What does that mean, right? That would mean because his mother is an Atlantean, his father is a human, would most likely, in the comics at least, it's his father that has the mutant gene that's passed down to him. That's why he has it. That's why in the trailer, if you see, he doesn't have the same skin color as the Atlanteans because he's half human. That's why he can breathe underwater and on land, whereas the Atlanteans have to wear respirators when they're on land. So now, if we talk about Guardians of the Galaxy that's coming in, we know that the High Evolutionary is coming. High Evolutionary is known to experiment on people. We know that the Eternals are coming. We know that the Eternals are who in the comics originally created mutants. Now, Wanda...
We just took 70 different turns right there.
There's just a lot of, stuff getting... I'm just typing in. we get another separate kind of person. Wanda, Pietro, experimented on in the comics by the High Evolutionary. That's how they get their powers. Find out to be mutants. They had end up getting retconned to be Magneto's children. Gets retconned again, not to be Magneto's children. Get retconned again, they're Magneto's children. Whatever's going on there. Comics are crazy. Well, there could be something, because, anyways, there's shots in the trailer that make you think different reasons why Namor's, a jerk. Right? In the comics, he's just like a jerk. He's a hothead jerk. It sounds like they're going to give him a backstory where, like, humans were rude to him, Wakandans might have done something, and we don't know. But for some reason, he doesn't like the surface world, right? Mm-hmm. In the comics, they're just like, he doesn't like the surface world. There could be something where he was experimented on.
By the High Evolution?
Maybe that'll be... I doubt it, just because Guardians of the Galaxy is usually very separate. I doubt they'd go that way, but it's a possibility. Now,
well, they were in Thor: Love and Thunder, so
I know, but like their stories like are very, very separate because they're like out in space and like they don't want them to be connected because then there's just a lot of plot holes that are eventually right. Like they talk about Earth just a little bit in Volume 2, but they had to only let Ego be there for a little bit and then take him off because like that would plot holes. Okay, if he's there for too long, all that. Now, other things in Black Panther. So how is they going to say Black Panther died? There's a lot of rumors. The leading rumor is that he dies of cancer, which is how Chadwick Boseman died, so it makes sense.
Okay.
Little tip of the hat to him. I think that is a possibility. The only thing that makes me think maybe not is we just had Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, die of cancer. I don't think that's like that big of a deal that 2 people died of cancer, but it is a little weird that they're that close together.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they chose something else. But that is the prevailing theory, and I think it's a good theory.
I mean, it would be a good,
like we don't some other rumors out there. Like, if that's not the case, it's probably like he was killed by somebody, an Atlantean, that's why, or this Doctor Doom that's being rumored, or whatnot. I think the problem with that is like that kind of creates plot holes. Also, like his father was killed that way, and then it would just be like the same story again. Mm-hmm. So. All right, some other rumors. So in the trailer, his mother, I can't remember her name.
Right, I don't know.
Starts with an A. Can't remember it. Anyway, she says this line that I'm pretty sure I agree with a lot of the people who have said this. I think Emergency Awesome, Everything Always, and the Cosmic Wonder all have said this in their trailer breakdown videos. So you probably have heard it, but that this line is actually a line Shuri's going to say in the actual movie. Because she says, I am the queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my whole family has been taken from me, or something like that. Yes, this one makes sense because her whole family hasn't, right? We know Shuri's still alive. Nakia's being rumored to be pregnant with T'Challa's son, or daughter, child. I don't know if the rumors have said what gender, but so... I don't feel like she would say that. Whereas Shuri, if her mother dies, would 100% say that.
Yeah.
So I think they did a little switcheroo to, not let us know who's going to die, but I now think she's going to die. I really like that theory. So
that's interesting to think about.
Especially because there's a shot directly from the comics where when Namor attacks Wakanda in the comics, he floods the palace. Right? Like this tidal wave just... Right?
Don't say that's going to be the way she dies. That's like...
So, anyway, in the trailer, there's a lot of people running around, right? In the palace when it gets hit. Then there's another shot later with just Shuri standing in the palace. Now, we don't know when the shot with Shuri standing in the palace is, right? It seems, based on water levels and fire going on, that this would be after that fact. Now, I personally think the shot of Shuri standing there is when she is about to take, because in the comic, she recreates the heart-shaped herb. Like,
oh yeah, there's no more of them, is there? One,
which is how I think they're going to get it back. In the comics, when she does that, she goes to this ancestral plane, right? She talks to Boss, the Panther Goddess, and the Panther Goddess is like, you're not ready to be Black Panther, which would make a lot of sense. In the comics, she makes a synthetic version, gets there, they're like, it's not the real thing, this is what I gave you, you're not ready to be Black Panther because of that, but then she's like, hey, I've lost my whole family, blah, blah, convinces her to let her be Black Panther. That's what I think's going to happen.
Okay, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I think, but that could be something that really pushes her over the edge to take this heart-shaped herb, right?
Mhm.
Is it her mother is now dead, her father's dead, her brother's dead, all that. So, another
I'm going
rumor,
to start crying.
another rumor about that is Okoye, a lot of people are saying, is going to be Black Panther, not Shuri. Now that makes sense too. Her being, protector of the king, she could feel very responsible for his death. She could feel responsible for mother's death, so she could be like, "No, sure, I'll take the heart-shaped herb." She's the one who goes. That makes sense as well. We don't know. Now, another rumor, in the original Black Panther movie, her like boyfriend, husband, whatever, guy that was like the leader of the border tribe.
Oh, yes.
So that actor's not coming back because he's in something else at the same time. So he couldn't make the shoots. So he's not going to be in the movie. How they're going to explain that away, we don't know. We don't know if he's just like not going to be talked about at all, like he doesn't exist anymore, or if they're going to explain like, he's on a secret mission somewhere. We don't know.
He's over in the States protecting the senator.
We don't know. Now there's also another shot with Queen, whatever her name is. Why can't I think of her name? Oh, it's literally on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, where she's talking to like a UN type council or something. We don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's because if my theory that when they attack, she dies. Does she have rumors of this attack first? Now, we also have these rumors, all right, that the way. So how does
What are you trying to
Atlantis
say?
get discovered, right?
I'm not sure how.
So in the trailers, there's these a lot of sea exploration type things going on, and we don't know who. And this is where a lot of people think Doctor Doom's going to come on. A lot of people are rumoring that because in the comics he's going after vibranium, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he might have. It could be because of the celestial head. It could be because of a sunken ship, when a claw ship's getting sunk, whatnot, that he thinks vibranium's in the water, right? So, why would this? So either he's searching for vibranium for any of those reasons, and he ends up finding Atlantis.
Is Doctor Doom confirmed?
No.
Okay.
This is why this is rumors. We're talking rumors here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just curious.
He's about as confirmed as he can be without being confirmed, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to show up in physical form unless it's an after credit scene. But I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't even know if he'd be name dropped, but very much implied.
Okay.
In my opinion. That's how I think it's going to be. Now, I forgot what else. Oh, he's trying to find vibranium. He ends up finding. Why? So either we've got, a little loosey-goosey excuse, right? Namor is like vibranium. Wakanda has vibranium. This is Wakanda's fault. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, a little loosey-goosey, but Namor, hothead, could make that connection.
I mean, yeah, sure, but...
And he could be like, you guys could have stayed secret like we did, and this would never have happened. Or he could be like, you guys could have given your vibranium to the whole world, and this wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
So blame him that way. Maybe. My theory is that Riri Williams is supplying whatever this group is with her tech to help them explore for vibranium because she wants vibranium in her own tech. I don't know her exact connection to Wakanda because there's shots of her in Wakanda with Shuri. If it's just like, hey, we're both like the smartest people in the world, we should get together, or if she is Wakandan, don't know. But all I know is there's shots of her at MIT and shots of her in Wakanda.
That's confusing.
So, also shots of her making her Ironheart suit. So she clearly has ability to make these technologies. Seems very similar to arc reactor technology from Iron Man that's being used in these suits. Now, if she's the one who supplies it, he could be coming after her. We know there's shots of her running away from people in MIT, of Shuri coming to her at MIT. So if she's using vibranium, Shuri could be like, hey, we need to go talk to this person who's using vibranium in her tech. Go to talk to her. She's like, wow, you're like the smartest person ever. We should have you at Wakanda. Now, Namor's like, whoa, Wakanda's helping this person that helped find us. Wakanda's fault. That makes more sense to me, right?
Yeah.
And that would also be a reason for their fighting to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is if they like, oh wait, it is this Doctor Doom fellow. Now I don't think it's going to be like full on Batman v Superman like we talked about, where like boom, Doctor Doom shows up and they actually like fight him. I think it'll be more like, oh wait, there's this person from what's his place called? Latveria. Even we might get a what's her name? His like second in command. I want to say, oh man, I can picture what she looks like. Liberator? No. Oh my goodness, I feel so stupid. I can't think of names today. But anyways,
I don't know who you're talking about, sadly.
she like how what is like soldiers wear the like gold with the green cape and the gold helmet.
Oh yeah.
She's like the one who leads that whole army.
No,
But of course we got Doombots too. But man, what's her name?
Maybe we'll see Doombots.
We might. All right. Now let's see. Anyways, that's all I can really think of for Black Panther. Well, okay. I didn't get into other who could be Black Panther. But, so stay tuned next week. There'll be more rumors for me to go over. I have a lot about Quantum Mania to talk about. Some for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 besides what I already talked about. And so, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that and possibly newer news.
Yeah, I mean, as the news comes out, there's going to be more leaks and stuff here. I've been trying to get some footage from that was supposedly leaked about. Oh, there's also like the whole like what's going on with Secret Wars that I have some theories on that I really want to get into.
Goodness. You see how much like he gets and how much I get. My stuff are like microscopic compared to his.
Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Marvel's better than Star Wars, I guess.
I won't disagree there, to be honest.
All right. Well, we will see you all later.